in your book on page 167, you should have been practicing. Those same practice questions we're going to go over today, but they're in your packet, so it might be a little bit easier to refer back to on Friday when you're taking the quiz. So you might want this for the quiz. Be sure to put your name on it just in case it gets misplaced. It's 12:13. So yesterday we talked about, guys, it's time to be quiet. Yesterday we talked about what? What did we talk about yesterday? How many solutions? So some had no solutions when we had something that would never be true, right? Like 2 = 7, that would never be true, right? And then we also talked about infinite solutions when something was always true. Like if we had 2 = 2, 2 always equals 2, right? So today we are going to do numbers 1 through 11 because you've already done them, hopefully, yesterday during practice. And then you'll have some more to practice on your own after that. So just about 9 questions today on your own. After simplifying each side of an equation, the result is 3 = -5. The equation 3 = -5, is that always, sometimes, or never true? It is never true because no value, any value, some values, or no value, no value can be substituted into the original equation to make the equation true. So the equation has 1 solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions if we have this 3 = -5. If it's never true, we have no solution. Okay, so that's important to know. Never means no solution. If it's never true, there's no solution. After simplifying each side of an equation, the result is 4 2/10 = 4 2/10. The equation 4 2/10 = 4 2/10 is always, sometimes, or never true. Doesn't 4 2/10 always equal 4 2/10? So we can say this is always true because any value can be substituted into the original equation to make the equation true. Boys, please. So the equation, if it's always true, if we end up with a number equals that same number, we have what? 1 solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions. Nope, not 1. 1 would be if we had x equals something or a letter equals something. Here, if it's always true, we have infinitely many solutions because we can put any value in for x. So infinitely many solutions. So those 2 were review, but not what you did on your practice by yourself yesterday. But the next 9 are straight from your paper. So if you wanted to turn to page 167 to refer back here to check your work in your workbook, if you want to refer back here to see if you got it right or wrong, you can definitely do that. It's on page 167. This number 3 is number 1 there. So we're trying to figure out, does this have 1 solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions? When we see parentheses, guys, this is lots of practice for you for your quiz on Friday. When we see parentheses, we have to multiply what's touching the parentheses through. So we have 4x minus 32 plus 12 is equal to 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times -9 is -18. So as we simplify this, we end up with 4x minus 20, because -32 plus 12 is -20, and 4x minus 18. If you continue on simplifying, you next would get rid of one of your variable terms. If I subtract 4x from this side, I have to do that to this side, and what do we end up with? We end up with -20 equals -18. Does -20 equal -18? Never. It does not equal this. So, do we have one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions? If it's never true, we have no solution. Okay, so that was like number 1. Number 2, I believe, is like number 4. So you just start simplifying, you just start solving. You're gonna have to solve several of these for your quiz, right? So it's good practice. We first have to distribute. 3 times 2k is 6k. 3 times -5 is -15. Bring down your equal sign. 6 times k is 6k. 6 times -4 is -24. And bring down your +9. Now we have to combine like terms. So we have 6k minus 15 is equal to 6k. What's -24 plus 9? Also -15. So now, once we go to get rid of our variable term, what are we left with? -15 equals -15. Is this always true? It's always true. So it doesn't matter what we put in for k. This has one, no, or infinitely many solutions. Do I have a letter equals a number? Infinitely many solutions. All right. So we're going to keep going. This one is just like number 3 on page 167. So I'm going to copy down the left because nothing can be simplified over here. Remember, when we multiply by a fraction, we multiply by what's on top and divide by what's on bottom. When we multiply by 1, though, it doesn't change our number. So this is really just like 12 divided by 3. So this becomes 4y, and -9 divided by 3 is -3. And then I would bring down my -8y. So now, as I combine like terms on the right, 4 minus 8 is -4. And so now you'll see that we have something that is always true. -3 always equals -3. So no matter what we put in for y, it would work. So one solution, no solution, or infinitely many. Infinitely many. All right, so the same thing. When we're trying to figure out, we've got to simplify both sides. Hopefully you guys have a lot of these done from yesterday, right? This is number 4 that we are supposed to do yesterday. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times -5 is -30. Don't forget the W. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times -2 is -10W. And then I have -20W. So before we can evaluate, we need to combine like terms over here. We have 18 minus 30W. Guys, I'm worried you're not going to be successful if you're just on your phones or talking with each other. Equals 20 minus 30W. So if we go to add 30W to get rid of it on the right, guess what would happen? We would get rid of it on the left too. So we would be left with 18 equals 20. Is that true? 18 does not equal 20, never ever, right? So one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions? No solution. All right, we have to complete this equation so that it has infinitely many solutions. Remember, infinitely many solutions have the same coefficient and the same constant. So we have to figure out, simplified, what our coefficient and our constant need to be. So we would just copy down the 2x, and then we have to distribute that -7 through. -7x minus 70. It's still not simplified. We can combine our x terms. So 2 minus 7 is -5x. We still have the same constant though. So what's our coefficient going to be? If it's the same for infinite, we want -5 here. And if our constant has to be the same for infinitely many solutions, that has to be the same as well. All right, so now we're still looking for an infinitely many solution equation. So we're looking for the same coefficient and the same constant still. So for this one, nothing needs to be distributed, but we can combine like terms. So we have 12 minus 1 is what? 11. 11 plus 3 makes 14x. So this is 14x plus 8. So what's our coefficient going to be to have infinitely many solutions? The same, right? And the same goes here, same constant. So what constant do we want? 8. Okay, number 9. Complete the equation so that it has no solution. No solution has the same coefficient, but a different constant. It looks like they figured out the constant for us. We just need to figure out what coefficient we need to have the same on the right. So if we distribute 9x minus 36 minus 5x, what can I combine? Yes, that 9 and -5. So what's 9 minus 5? 4. So I have 4x minus 36. So what does my coefficient need to be here to make it the same? 4. So no solution and infinitely many solutions have the same coefficient, right? If it was a different coefficient, we would have one solution. That's what we were practicing lots of before. All right, so now we have done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. I think we're gonna jump back to number 7, but this is number 10 in your packet. So this is number 7 on page 167 if you did it, if you wanna look back there. Again, no solution has the same coefficient but different constant. So they picked our constant for us to be different. We just need to simplify our coefficients. There's no parentheses, so I don't need to distribute, but I can combine my like terms. Alien Noah, what is going on? -15 plus 4. -11. -11 minus 1 gets one more negative, so -12x plus 2. If we're looking for the same coefficient, what does our coefficient need to be? -12. This was number 9. And I know you guys don't like fractions, but I promise if you multiply by what's on the top and divide by what's on the bottom, you'll be okay. Here, we're going to explain why this has no solution. We have to simplify though to figure that out. So we have 2/3 times x. We're just going to write as 2/3 x. 2/3 times 3. Well, 3 times that 2 on top is 6. 6 divided by the 3 on the bottom is 2. So plus 2 is equal to, here again, 2/3 x. Now we have -6 times 2, so -12. -12 divided by 3 is -4. So are our coefficients the same or different? They're both 2/3. So our coefficients are not different. We can get rid of the first 2. The coefficients are the same. How about the constants? Are these the same or different? Different. That's why there is no solution. So the third choice is our answer. Do you see how we just had to simplify? All right, now everything that we just did is going to be repeated, but with different numbers. So you have 9 questions to go through. Distribute, simplify, determine how many solutions, 1, none, or infinite. Okay, so you've got that practice. I'm kind of thinking I'm going to give you your practice quiz today for those of you who want to work on it or might need some extra assistance tonight, so that tomorrow you'll have some time to go do it as well, and then we'll go over it together tomorrow before your quiz on Friday, okay? Friday quiz. Make sure your packet's done. We should.
Is there a math mute?
Probably not a very short one. All right. Okay. Questions, concerns?
I'm trying to find it.
All right.